And we're social distancing. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right. Well, speaking of social distancing, Todd is up somewhere
I am.
outside of the building. And welcome, Todd, and take us through what's going on in the market.
Great. Okay. Well, I have the same situation. I'm not sure how we're controlling slides, so I'm going to anticipate you guys are. But looking at this is for the webinar for the week ending March 23rd, 2020. And we're sitting at 51 days closed on market. We'll talk a little bit about the differences between the months and exactly what that means to everybody. But we're sitting at 12,238. That's up over 10%. Basically, you'll see why in a little bit. Pending is sitting at 5480. We're at about a 1.5 month supply right now. Absorption rate is sitting at 65%. Our average list prices are down, actually. This is the first week in over, well, since the beginning of the year that those numbers have gone down. Average list price is hovering right about 376, and average list price to sale price retention is at 98.19. So taking a look at inventory, next line down, we have sitting at 12,238. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit because that's an exciting thing. That's putting over 2,000 properties back into the marketplace that weren't there, but we'll see where exactly in that spectrum of priced homes those are. Pending is sitting at 5480. That's down 10%. Closed inventory for the month is at 5607. Not yet quite keeping up with what we should be doing for this time of year. Take a look at the price range or the days on market. Again, we're sitting at 141. That's down just about average. It really hasn't moved too much. Yesterday it was up a little higher, so it's down. I've been watching these things every day now because trying to really see where the big anomalies are going to show up. Looking at days on market close, we're sitting at 51. In the bottom right hand side, as we go down to our ranges, looking at the different ranges, we're sitting at about 67%. This continues to drop. 67% of the entire inventory is under $500,000. Between 500 and a million, we're sitting at about 21.2%. But ironically, what we're seeing is the growth is happening over $1 million. Not sure exactly why that's happening at this particular point, but again, we'll take a look and stay connected from that perspective. But you can also see the days on market. Under 500,000 is averaging about 59 days on market. Between 500 and a million is averaging 100. And of course, over is closer to 180 days. So taking a look at our actual spreadsheet slide week over week, we took 2620 versus 2,000 listings. So it added roughly 600, 550 new listings to the market. That's up 26%. Our active inventory, we were at 10,990 last week. So to Matt Baker's point, just looking at the numbers week over week, unless you saw what was happening all week long, you wouldn't realize how dramatic this actually is. Our inventory normally moves 2 to 3, 4% at any week. We've moved 11.4% this particular week. Right underneath that, you'll see where it says single family detached. We've been talking about this, Mike, for the last couple of shows now. We were at 8,700 single family detached properties in the entire MLS. Now we're at 9,795. So of all of that 600 gain, we ended up with 1,100 more single family detached homes to be able to show and sell. Take a look at pending, the next line down, 5480. That's not really all that good. We dropped 10%. It is okay that we can fluctuate like that. We'll see next week. As long as we recover, that should be fine. But again, looking at the 5480 versus the 6,000 from the week before, there are obviously fewer buyers that are actually in escrow at this particular moment. Closed inventory, again, it's really, for the next slide, next section down, it really isn't an important indicator right this particular minute. More of the day-to-day fluctuations and where are those fluctuations happening and how do I control my real estate business based on what's happening. That's really what we're all about today. But 5,600, just to keep you in line, we're still below, we're still in the red in comparison to last year, same period. So this is a great indicator for everyone out there. That's a real simple metric to look at. And from a KPI perspective, 5790, we've only got to make up about 190 properties. So we'll kind of hold in there and see what happens at the end of the month from that perspective. Looking at stats a little further down, we look at our 1.55 month supply. Again, that's in green right now because it actually slowed down just a little bit. So there's a silver lining in some of this, which is mortgage rates are recovering, from the low and then the dramatic high. Inventory, we've just been chipping away at this and not replacing it. Well, all of a sudden this week, first time this year, we're now starting to replace it. So that's good. If we can keep the same closed perspective as far as, comparison to last year, then that's going to be a really good sign, because it just means the people that are in the market, and this is really what I think everybody needs to understand right now, is if somebody's in the market right now, they're serious. They've got to close. There's a life experience thing happening to them, whether it's a relocation, job transfer, children, whatever it is, that's a good indicator, and it's an easy one for everybody. Taking a look at average list prices again, one of the things is the average list price isn't really that important in our conversations because it's dealing with the entire inventory, including those $1 million homes. But average sale price, on the other hand, that really helps us understand what the movement is in the market. And right now we're at 376. Last week we were at 390. So I want to be clear that everybody's seeing this. Last week, the average sale price was 390,000. Now we're at 376. That is totally opposite of what you would think would be happening with this in this period of time. So that's a good sign as far as knowing that that this situation, at least as of today, isn't putting undue pressure on those sale prices. Excuse me. Days on market, 140. It's continued to lean out. We've been averaging 150 right along for the last couple of years, actually. We have experienced in the last few weeks about the 145 area. Well, now we're down to 140, which is a unique sign, because it's saying that the overall active inventory, again, is also slowing down. However, closed, look at that. We're still just about 4 days, a little quicker than we were. Again, 70 is normal, 70 days for sold on market, but we'll see what happens there. List price and sale price retention. When the sellers realize that they've got the only product out there, when the seller realizes that the market may reward them with more, with less reduction in price, that's when you're going to see this go up to 899, 100%. Over 100% means that they're actually getting more than the list price at the time the offer is accepted. So normally this is about 97.8%. I don't see anything right in this particular line that is indicative of the situation we're going in right now. So I brought some other slides together because I wanted to show you exactly what's going on as far as market's concerned. Mostly I wanted to just not put you in a state of frenzy, because we're certainly getting enough of that in the on TV. But if you look at single family detached versus the entire, we usually report the entire MLS because we're not really focused on just single family detached. There's condos, urban lifestyles, different types of properties available. But single family detached, you're looking here and you can just see some quick ones right off the first couple of lines. There's 548 homes between 100,000 and 150,000 or 100 product, but there's only 123 single family detached. And you can kind of use that way as you glance through this, and both of these were as of yesterday. On the next slide, the information that we're providing is where we have been reaching out. The new home builders have been that resource for us that's been putting us in a situation where we've had inventory to show. Sure, I understand nobody wants to wait 10 months for a compensation. But the reality, and one of the things you probably don't want to do right now, I'm going to throw this out there, is stay away from the commission advance companies. Let's ride this a little longer before you go give away a portion of your money because you're hoping something closes and you need the cash today. But this shows us exactly where some of the market is. Of armless resale at the time that I did this, which was this one was done the beginning of the week on Monday. There was close to the same number of properties available that we had during our last webinar. But as you take a look at the new home inventory, it's about 20% of the market right now. So 2,186 homes are listed as brand new homes in the marketplace in armless right now. So, you take that 2,000 homes off of that 9,700 single family detached number, And that means realistically, we've only got about 7,000 properties in the MLS that are resale, that are single family detached. Move-in ready homes, this is the one where you get an opportunity to collect your compensation sooner. And please understand, I'm talking about compensation. I am not saying that's the most important factor, but I do believe it's an obstacle sometimes as to whether or not we're excited about people looking at a brand new home. And so in this particular case, if you're bringing them to a move-in ready home, an inventory home that basically is all done, the C of O is ready to just, you know, accept a buyer and move in, that still is about 760 homes out there that you can choose from. I think that also offers a great opportunity for everyone, you know, to be able to have that extra inventory. Okay, next slide. We have, again, taking a look, and we do this on an ongoing basis. You know, this is the Southeast Valley, Northeast Valley, Southwest Valley, Northwest Valley, all of the different areas of town, looking at the model and plans that are available. How many are just models only? Like, what can your client physically walk in and see? The spec inventory that's out there. Spec inventory is anything that's basically been approved for the city, could still be dirt, could be a house that's almost ready. Move-in ready specifically is one that is like a resale home. It's ready to go, but without anybody else's exfoliated skin under the carpet. No, did I say that out loud? Okay. And then, of course, from closeout inventory, these are the properties that right now are typically offering some incentives to your consumers to buy the last remaining homes in the community. And there's also a significantly great opportunity for our clients right in that particular market. So if you're interested, if you look in the Northwest Valley, you live and work in the Northwest Valley, take a look at that section and the same commensurately with each of the others. And you can see the difference in the changes. And if you go to the next slide, it's maybe a little easier to see, but you know, you can kind of see the peaks and valleys. The three together is what you're looking for. So each of the columns that are three together. So if an example, the Southeast Valley to the left, the model and plans, you can see it go from January to March. January was the orange, March was the gray. Fewer and fewer model plans available. Models only, that's pretty same. Spec inventory, significantly different. So there's fewer properties actually in the Southeast Valley being started constructions. So that's kind of how you can take a look at this slide in each of your own sections. And we put these in the Westwards. The new home inventory is always located in your Westwards magazine that we send out once a month. But, you know, again, just to make sure some people, I've listed my sources on the second to last slide, but, you know, just what are they saying right now of what to expect? And again, this is, you know, obviously changing every single day almost, but some of the best leading economists are saying that the first quarter is going to remain stagnant. We're already through it. You know, as far as the coronavirus impact on the second quarter of 2020, they're thinking that it's going to reduce our GDP by 5%. That's significant. You know, if we look at our year end for 2020, if everything expels and the threats taken away and we get back to business, as everybody's saying, basically by June 1st, then we should be able to pull out the year end at a 2.4, and it really was anticipated to be about 2.5. So I think they're looking a little bullish in this perspective of looking for some you know, good things to happen. Unemployment wise, you know, again, the biggest issue is going to be in the fact that, you know, we have been doing exceptionally well, but the biggest thing is in the last 2 weeks, there's been a 33% increase in claims. So we're now up to 280,000, and this is the first time it's gone in the wrong direction. So pending any major layoffs, you know, that could significantly and dramatically change those numbers. Home ownership, again, you know, there's been gain 5.4% was the appreciation that the average home gained over the fourth quarter or through the fourth quarter of 2019. 62% of the homes out there have mortgage loans. To Matt Baker's point earlier, those people, when they saw those rates dropped, they went up 479%. There was a 470, almost 500% increase in mortgage refinancing applications. So when you're talking about gumming up a system, that's what you get. I want to also give you a place in which you can go to look for, you know, for some guidance also from NAR. If you go to the coronavirus, a guide for realtors, there's some great information. If you do not have health care and you are a realtor, NAR has opened up a MD Live, which is access to a telehealth system that any and every realtor can access for free during this period. 24/7, 365. If you have a concern, you think you may have the virus, go to that link. It'll provide you with all the ways in which you can get free medical advice. NAR is obviously also out there trying to get real estate added to the essential services. When they do what's called a, I'm trying to think of the word right now, and I can't. So it's either non-essential or essential. Essential is usually doctors, hospitals, grocery stores, automotive repair facilities, things that we have to continue. Then they're trying to get real estate added to that because there are people that still need to do things in the market. 60-day foreclosure eviction moratorium was announced on March 18th. So if you have clients that are worried because they needed to sell your listing quickly because they were under foreclosure, there's a moratorium now that was issued. As of right now, they're only running it for about 60 days. But again, if your clients are, this is just additional information you can share with your clients. And then of course, as you're working with your clients, this is, I think, the thing that's most scary, especially with social distancing. Everybody's been saying, what should I be doing? Well, you do have some rights during this time. And we've always had these rights, but obviously they're more prevalent. Is ask your clients if they've traveled anywhere, if they've been, if they have any flu-like symptoms. That's an acceptable thing. I don't care. There is no protected class from that perspective. Ask clients to take their own vehicles. Don't put them in your vehicle. Let them stay in their own. If you have to go out and look at a particular house, or it's during the inspection period, and that's their first look at the property, you want to make sure you take separate vehicles. As an NAR and everybody pretty much has established the fact they want no live open houses at this particular point, which basically means we need to be smart and find other ways to demonstrate our properties. You could do a town hall meeting. You could do a webinar. You could do Facebook Live, FaceTime, Zillow, that new 3D service, which you could send a video to your client. There's a lot of different ways, and I know our own Keith Flynn is doing some great technology webinars to keep you guys going on. Having new tools to be able to continue to work your clients. And again, you can write a contract on a home the client's never seen. If the client fall in love with a home on Zillow or Realtor.com, or you've shown it to them and they like the video that you provided, you can write an offer on that home. Let them write the offer. And then at that particular point, you're under contract. During the due diligence period, they can come in and have the right to check the house out. And of course, last thing is, as far as the addendum, and AAR came out with a coronavirus addendum. It's a good initial way to try and let people know. It's not that the contract doesn't already have it in there, it does, but they can't basically use the coronavirus in itself as a reason to cancel the contract. So that's pretty much that. That's the list of the research sources that I've used, and then of course this will be available to you on Alexa and all of the different social media apps that we are at. So Mike, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, I appreciate it, and I know we got a lot of people that have been sending in questions, so we just ask everybody to be patient. We're going to try to get to you to some of your questions as soon as possible.